Fight!
Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everyone. Nick here, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be returning to All Costumes Ranked and taking a look at one of our Shaolin monks, Kung Lao. Armed with a sharp quip just as sharp as his hat, he is one of the most recognizable characters in terms of design in the series. But of all 24 of his designs, which one of them is the best? We're gonna find that out together. Now, as always when it comes to this series, this is just my opinion, and I wanna let you know that I'm not gonna be factoring any gear pieces, I'm not gonna be looking at anything else outside of the video games, and we're not gonna be taking a look at repeated designs, such as like the MK3 design showing up in MKX. We're just gonna be looking at where it originated for this list. Before we get into this, I wanna give a big honorable mention to Max Huang's Mortal Kombat 2021 design. I'd say that is peak when it comes to portrayal from the games to the movies, probably one of the best translations. However, it is very disappointing that it is a movie exclusive design and it didn't show up in the movie pack in Mortal Kombat 1. So if you guys want another reason to hate the game, that's another one there for you. And with that, let's toss our hats in the ring and rank all 24 of Kung Lao's designs from the worst to the best. Starting things off with 3 that I don't hate, but I feel just missed the mark for me. That being the Revenant variants in Mortal Kombat 11. I don't think any of Kung Lao's designs are really bad, just some really missed the mark for me. For the Revenant designs, these just don't hit it for me. Starting things off with the Bad Attitude variants. The first major thing, I really don't like the lack of armor on this one. Mortal Kombat 11 had removed a lot of elements or armor pieces to make different costume variations, but retaining the shoulder pauldrons but removing the torso armor was just a strange choice. I'm not sure if this is meant to be like a technical flex and showing like the weird energy flowing through the body, showcasing more of like the cracked and decayed skin that really looks like it needs some Nivea skincare, but they removed one of the big elements of the primary design in this, and it really makes it not stand out anymore. Personally, it just looks really rough, and if I keep talking about this one, it may put me in a bad attitude, so let's just move on. Moving on to Dress to Kill at number 23. Once again, it's literally just a lesser version of the base design I'm not too fond of. The biggest differences include the shoulders are now missing, the demonic tiger on his chest is missing, and he's missing the back piece of his loincloth, making it less flashy and a lot less flowy. It doesn't do a whole lot to stand out with the removal of these elements, therefore earning its placement much lower on the list. And at number 22, we've got the silver medalist variants from Mortal Kombat 11. Now, a lot of the issues I have with this design do apply to the other 2 that we just quickly covered, which is why I waited until we got here. First off, my biggest complaint with this is that they made him too similar to Liu Kang's Revenant design, making him not stand out as a unique Revenant. I mean, just look at them side by side. They have same exact color palettes, similar armor to one another, and the only real way to tell them apart is that one has flowing hair with a headband, and the other has a hat and is now bald. Actually, wait a minute, why is he bald now? Seriously, this makes him come off more like a general or captain of the army of the Netherrealm, and not the Shaolin warrior that we're big fans of. If I were to revise this, I would give him the tiger but place it on one half of his torso, similar to what they did with his tournament design in Mortal Kombat X, and I'd give him the sash and put it over his torso to differentiate himself from Liu Kang. I mean, they've made Revenant Katana and Jade unique to each other, so it baffles me they didn't do the same for Kung Lao. Honestly, I'm really happy that we're done with the Revenant era, as I feel many others are as well. Again, I don't find these designs to be bad, they are well made, but I feel they missed the mark and don't feel like good Kung Lao designs. I just wanted to throw my hat in the ring on the Revenant designs. Now making a jump over to Mortal Kombat X with this Guacho design. Quite honestly, this one just confuses me. Ever since Mortal Kombat X, they started introducing like other cultures as costumes in this coming from the Brazilian skin pack. This same costume pack gave us the soccer costume for Johnny Cage, the capoeira design for Liu Kang, and a cowboy of South America for Kung Lao. Yeah, I'm just as surprised they didn't go with like a Brazilian sport or something like that for Kung Lao. I mean, you can tell the team did their homework, pulling a lot of elements and inspiration from actual guachos and implementing it to Kung Lao's design. It's just so weird that this is a design. I'm surprised they didn't do like sports fan Kung Lao or sports fan Kung Jin and gave him like a vuvuzela as his bow and arrow. Now, this is not a bad design at all. I hope you understand that. I don't know, it's just a very weird risk to make a design. I don't know, I really don't have a whole lot else to say about this one. Let's just saddle up and move on. Sticking with MKX at number 20, we're gonna be wrapping up the Revenant designs with MKX Revenant Kung Lao. After getting his soul sucked worse than MK 2021, Kung Lao was given the Revenant makeover. Whereas I didn't like the approach they took with the MK11 Revenant skins, I only like this design a little bit more than those. For one, I do like the glowing orange veins and eyes in this one. Makes him come off a little bit more creepy. And I also appreciate the fact they make him feel different than Revenant Liu Kang, something MK11 failed to do. He's rocking the demonic tiger, but it's more flashier with the orange gem. Yeah, the colors are still a little flat like the rest of MKX's designs, but it at least fits this design for Kung Lao and the other Revenants. Also, one thing I do like about the MKX Revenants, though very small, are the black fingernails. Seriously, those are creepy and make for a fun little detail. Even though this undead design is lower on the list, it's not fully soulless as it has some appeal for me. Jumping into the first of 6 designs from Mortal Kombat 1, this going to the first of 2 story-based designs, the Wu Shi variants. In Raiden's chapter, Liu Kang trains the new Earthrealm fighters for a totally not deadly Mortal Kombat tournament. This shows a fun segment showing off the fighters at the Wu Shi Academy and their new robes. I've already talked about this design briefly and I'll catch these designs ranked, but if there's one thing I do like, it's that they make each of these very similar designs have some element to make it feel like their own version. Such as for Kung Lao, I like that even though he has the same orange monk robes, he's given some monk beads around his waist, wraps around his wrists, and something that hangs over his left shoulder and torso. Something that retains that classic Kung Lao element. Nice things to make it stand out from the other 3 Wu Shi designs. Yeah, I'm assuming many of you would have thought I would place this very low on the list. It may not be masterclass, but this design shows he's gonna school some of his opponents. Number 18 has been brought to you by Ancestry.com because we're looking at the beloved Ancestor variants from Mortal Kombat 11. Given to you after you completed the Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath story, this is briefly shown off as the Great Kung Lao, or supposedly the Great Kung Lao, as a teaser leading into the next Mortal Kombat title at the time. What I'm getting at is this is a little bit different to rank because it's not the traditional Kung Lao we've known, it's actually the Great Kung Lao that we've always heard about in the lore. It's wonderful that we get this as an actual treat, and in execution, it may look pretty simple and bland, similar to something like Wu Shi variants, but it's really cool that we get to play as a character that we've never really get to see. Even though he is wearing some very simple robes, I do like how there's a lot of identity to this, such as the loincloth cutting at a specific angle. Not really a whole lot else to say about this design. I just like how there's a few oddities here and there that make it feel like it's Kung Lao, but also making it feel like Great Kung Lao that we've always heard about. Even though this is the Great Kung Lao design, I think it's okay, landing perfectly at number 18. Let's jump back into the new era by looking at another story-based costume, this being the Infiltrator variants. Featured in the Secrets and Lies chapter in the story mode, Earthrealm's warriors are sent to Outworld to apprehend Shang Tsung wearing this set of armor. And for Kung Lao, this does look a lot like a modernized take of his traditional Mortal Kombat 2 look. Similarities include the black top with some blue shaded pants, and for this modernization, the top gives him some lightweight armor with some dragon engraved in there. Honestly, I think this looks pretty good. I do appreciate them including little Shaolin elements, such as the red belt and traditional pants. If they gave him the same design as Johnny Cage, then this would have landed much lower on the list. Though the top feels a little too bare from a distance, it could use a sash around the torso to give it a little more of a pop. I think this is a nice way to update the debut design. Another surprise infiltrating its way into number 17. 15. At number 16, we're already looking at Mortal Kombat 9 with this alternate design. Many would say that this is surprising that it's here, or in Kung Lao's case, unexpected, but I think this is a okay design. I just think it could have been improved a little bit. For one, I do like that he has some green going over his torso, and on a black undershirt, you can see that there's a dragon on it. And I even like that there's the red belt that's retained in this design. Now, this design isn't bad at all. Just compared to what it's going up against, I gotta place this one a little bit lower. This design goes for a more simpler approach, and I feel like it's playing it safe, trying not to be over-designed at all. Honestly, if there's one minor thing they could have done to make it place itself higher, is if they were to retain the symbol that's on other Kung Lao designs. Even if you look at the concept art for this, you can see it's over his right bicep. If that were included, this would have jumped up a few more placements just for an extra amount of detail. But I still think it's pretty good. Honestly, I can say that for a lot of his designs, that's what made ranking all of his costumes extremely hard. Time to look at our second base design coming from Mortal Kombat 1 at number 15. The new era variants, I think, are pretty good. It's a nice, simple, and modern take of the traditional Kung Lao that we're used to. I even like the small attention to detail with this design. Since it's his first tournament, he's actually wearing some more simple clothing. He still has his combat pants, but the shirt, instead of it having some light armor to it, it's actually just heavy cloth. Fun little detail like that, along with the leather guards. And I even like how amateur the hat is, as he just made it himself. Another fun addition where this is like the origin to the Kung Lao we eventually know later in the games. It's an interesting take of this style of design, but it's far from being my favorite. There are still some oddities to it that I really like, as I pointed out, but I feel the other designs do this take a little bit better. Speaking of talking about the new era, let's keep talking about this timeline by looking at the Order of Darkness variants. This time around, it showcases a more evil take of the character, coming from Shang Tsung's evil timeline. What I do like about this is that it actually showcases some like typical kung fu villain stuff you'd see. A lot darker clothing, and I like how a lot of it flows, especially in motion. That's one thing I really do like about this design and why I placed it a little bit higher. We don't see a lot of crazy flow motion stuff with Mortal Kombat characters, but when we do, it's a wonderful treat. The only thing that's a little weird and off about this design is that if you look at his legs, they're the same as the new era variant pants. Not sure if that's intentional or not, but I thought I'd point that out. Overall, a really cool what-if design. Dive kicking into the 13th spot with the MKX primary design. This here is a take that's not seen in the story of Mortal Kombat X, but is supposed to be Kung Lao just much older, and damn does it show it. He's now rocking some gray facial hair, and his design looks a little bit modified, showcasing him more as like an instructor. Also, one major addition I was not expecting to see with this design was giving him a very long flowing ponytail. Now sure, this was retained in Mortal Kombat 11 and Mortal Kombat 1, but it was not this long and crazy. Yeah, that's what she said. Personally, I think it fits this character design well. Honestly, even though I like a lot of the elements in this, it kind of feels like a fusion of MK2 and MK3 a little bit. Giving him the color palette from the MK2 design, giving him the insignia on his loincloth, and the dragons now on his chest. Honestly, I would like this design, but I feel it's a little bit over-designed. Personally, I feel they could have done either the symbol or the dragon, not both. And secondly, I think the big brown shoulder pads with the blue vest does clash a little bit too much for me. Those are just my minor things when it comes to saying it's over-designed. Other than that, I really like this design, and I'd really hope that they do something like this for the next Mortal Kombat, taking notes from this interpretation of the character. Let's jump back into the new era at number 12 and take a look at the Union of Light variants. I really like how this goes for that Shaolin approach, but changes it up quite a ton. One of the biggest differences they go with this is actually change up the color palette quite a ton. Instead of the traditional black, silver, and blue being the highlight colors, they change it up to be more of like a faded blue, red, and white. If you ask me, that color combo looks really good on this design. It's also great to see that he has that belt wrapped around his waist that's still retained, and I like how it's a slightly different shade of red. I would be totally open if they wanted to make this the new Shaolin approach for the character, or even for like the Wuxi Academy. That'd be really cool to see this come back as like an alternate costume moving moving forward. Also, sorry I don't have the actual color unlocked. Things have been quite busy over here. At number 11, we're kicking it old school and looking at the first Mortal Kombat game I had ever played, Mortal Kombat 3 with this base design. We're also lumping in Mortal Kombat Gold because it's the exact same design. This being my first introduction to the character, it did leave a little bit of a lasting impression on me, but as time has gone on, it's not really one of my favorite Kung Lao designs. For one, I am a big sucker for the black vest that he wears with nice silver and red accents. They don't really pop in the official game, but in Redux's they do. Instead of going with the blue pants and black top like last time, the vest he wears exposes more of his chest, and I even like that he has the red symbol on it this time. I even like that his loincloth wraps around his waist and the front. I think that's just a nice look. Also, the wrist guards being solid silver just look really nice, especially as digitized graphics. I've criticized a lot of the MK3 designs for looking too superhero-y, but I will admit that this does do something unique that doesn't make it feel strange or out of place. Honestly, it's one of the more better standout designs in MK3. It's a good design, but far from being one of my favorites. We are cracking into the top 10 with one of the first PlayStation 2 games I've ever played, Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. One costume that I feel many people don't talk about that much is his base design. Honestly, I think this looks really good. This one did the unthinkable for the time, made a design where the hat wasn't on his head. Instead, it got to show off his hair and the little ponytail he had at the top, instead opting to put the hat on his back instead, making this design stand out quite a ton just on that alone. I even like how they went with a very different approach to the character for the time. Instead of wearing like the kung fu pants and a vest, now rocking some wide leg pants instead with a much thicker shirt. It looks a lot more simple, but honestly this is a lot more of a fresh take that I love. Personally, I'd love to see this come back. I was a little disappointed when they were adding Deadly Alliance and Deception designs, and this wasn't one of the ones we got. I'd honestly love to see the MK team do something different with the hat and having it on his back again. Honestly, this is inspiring me to wear something cozy like this for the winter months coming up. At number 9, we're jumping back into Mortal Kombat 11 territory by looking at the Pride of the Wuxi variants. Like with many of the Mortal Kombat 11 designs, this is already taking a lot of elements from an existing design that we'll dive deeper into later on in this ranking. This is a much simplified version of the understudy variants, or the human version of Kung Lao in the story. The biggest differences being that the vest is a lot smaller and has a lot more flashes of color with lines on it. It honestly looks like he's borrowing some elements from the MK ninjas with the vest here, along with the belt. Just what separates this from the ninjas is that he still retains the Shaolin pants. Now personally, if you ask me, I think the vest is slightly too busy and I think it needs to be simplified to place it a bit higher, which funny enough, number 8, Dragon Fighter variants fixes a few of the issues I had with Pride of the Wuxi. This time around, the vest is just more two-toned with a blue and a red, and it retains something nice about Kung Lao having the embroidered dragons on the vest. Outside of that, it's virtually the same as Pride of the Wuxi, and I think that's enough to place it above the other one. And at number 7, we're closing out Mortal Kombat 1 by looking at the Hero's Journey variants. Okay, I'll admit this, when I first saw this design in the story, I thought it was awesome and I was hoping it would make its way into the game. Fortunately, it did, and now it's my go-to Kung Lao design. It does a cool take kind of urbanizing the Shaolin design, giving him the Kung Fu vest, but instead he actually has a cropped hoodie underneath it. Along with that, you get to see more street clothes such as his jeans, boots, and he retains the Shaolin red belt, a fun way to blend two different styles into one very cool looking design. I don't have too much to say about this one, it's just really good. Guess you can say Mortal Kombat 1 had quite the journey, but nice to see that this heroic design made it this high on the list. And while we're at it, let's close out another Mortal Kombat title at number 6 with the understudy variants from Mortal Kombat 11. Now for a while, I would have said that this was peak modern Kung Lao. It's a great modernization of the classic, taking plenty of liberties here and there, but I think it paid off. It retains the color palette of both Mortal Kombat 2 and 3, giving him the brown that was from Mortal Kombat 3 in his Kung Fu pants, and taking the vest from the Pride of the Wuxi design, giving it the blue and red there with the white stripes. And unlike the Pride design, they don't add too much to the shoulders or body, and it streamlines the stripe design, not making it super busy. I also like that he has something on his shoulders that flows in combat. In fact, this is probably the most flowy Kung Lao design until Order of Darkness came out. Another great update to this is is that they gave him some light armor, giving him the wrist guards and shoulder pads. They're not too big and bulky and they look more slim, complementing his very fast playstyle. I'd still argue and say this is one of the greater reworks of the character, and I'd love to see this one come back in a future title. It just looks that good. Hats off to you, devs. Alright, we're finally making our way into the top 5, taking a look at his debut, Mortal Kombat 2's base design. Now, I'm just gonna say this is one of the best Kung Lao designs. As I have stated earlier, a lot of the Kung Lao designs that we've looked at are all really good. The lowest I would probably give like a 7, honestly. But for the top 5, all of them are S-tier designs. Like, they're all that good. And a big spoiler, the final 5 designs take from the MK2 design. And honestly, good call on them, because his debut look is just great. Even in 1993, this one really stood out, rocking a simple black vest with a nice black Chinese character to it, blue pants that just really pop, and that red belt. These would be core components to Kung Lao's design, and my favorite element that the arcade version does is that the hat obscures his face, similar to Raiden. This just gives him more of like a mysterious warrior archetype that I love. It's crazy how this has been like the basis for so many designs moving forward. It's that good, and for that reason, it had to land in the top 5, going from his first tournament to the tournament design from Mortal Kombat X. Now, when I was writing this video, I actually had kind of forgotten about his tournament design, but after revisiting MKX and taking a closer look at this, man, I really slept on this one. It looks really good. I just like how it's like a nice modernized take of the MK2 look, and it does something slightly different. Like with the primary design, it gave him a long flowing ponytail, and I think it really fits in this design. Honestly, I would love it if they just did this in all future Kung Lao designs. Yeah, the mini one's cool and all, but I like this long flowing one. This time around, he still has his black vest. This time around, it has a dragon going up it, and you can see some sleeves that were ripped off that borrow the same color as his classic pants. Along with that, I even like how the loincloth he has a nice dragon going down it too. They change it up and give him some nice wrist guards, now with red cloth and rope around it. A nice change of pace, honestly. I do think that the emblem on his belt is a nice addition, and sadly, the only thing holding this back from entering the top 3 is that it's in MKX, meaning the colors are a little bit bland. Now, if this were in something like Mortal Kombat 11 or MK1, where the colors just pop a lot more, this easily could have been number 3, or dare I say number 2. It's a wonderful design that definitely needs to make its way into a new game, and what a great design to close out Mortal Kombat X. Hats off to you. Earning the bronze medal is the alternate design from Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. Whereas I like that they went with a different approach for his base design, yeah, I'm a sucker for this one. The team was able to recreate the MK2 design with the power of the PS2. With a few simple additions, this looks simple yet amazing. For starters, they actually added more color to this one, giving him a gold bracer on his biceps and changing the silver on his wrist to gold. Along with that, they added a blue sash going across his torso that matches the pants. The red belt flows a lot more, actually going down his legs, and his loincloth has gold going down the sides. It's honestly crazy to see this much gold on the design, but it really works as a wonderful accent to this design. I literally have zero complaints with this design. It's just that damn good. Even though this has a lot of gold, it still gets the bronze medal. But like his hat, it's still sharp. Our runner-up goes to the reimagining of Mortal Kombat 2, this being Shaolin Monks. Now, this game kept it very simple with the designs, just taking the MK2 versions, just making a few tweaks here and there, and in a lot of cases, just making them slightly more detailed. And in Kung Lao's case, they managed to make one of the best designs. All of the core pieces are still here, with the red belt, blue pants, and the black vest. This time around, instead of having the silver wrist guards, they've been updated to be black, but they now have dragons on them as a nice accent. Same goes for the vest, you now have 2 dragons on his chest. Those minor tweaks do so much for this design. This may be one of the most simple designs that we've seen, but it's still super effective. If Mortal Kombat had ended with Armageddon, this easily would have been the top spot. But there is one more game that did update this design, and it is taking the top spot. And that honor goes to the base design from Mortal Kombat 9. Now, this borrows a lot of similar elements to the Shaolin Monks redesign, but a couple of additions here and there just help place it higher over the other one. The dragons are in the same placement, being on the vest and on the wrist guards, but there's an additional one on the belt, giving it a pop of silver. Along with that, there's a new addition to this one. This this adding some nice flow to the belt where it actually connects to the front and goes behind him, giving it a really nice flow of color to the entire design. And another new addition that I do like is they add some straps to his biceps that still have some of that dragon element to it. Honestly, this is probably one of the best ways you can revise and modernize a classic arcade era design. When I first saw this at E3 2010, seeing Kung Lao in action, I immediately just thought to myself, damn, that is the best he has ever looked. And crazy enough, 14 years later, oh my god, 14 years, I'm old. It's still the best Kung Lao design. Put a golden crown on top of the razor hat. This is the best Kung Lao design. And so there's my ranking of all 24 of Kung Lao's designs ranked from the worst to the best. Which one of them is your favorite? Which one of them is your least favorite? And what's your favorite underrated design that not many people give enough credit? Let's talk about those in the comment section down below, and let's have a fun discussion about it. Now, as I had mentioned on my social media platforms, I'm actually going to be doing a live stream charity in collaboration with the Raiden Science Foundation, so stay tuned on my platforms as we'll be doing a fun build the roster together. I'll have Rain react to some more Mortal Kombat finishers, and I'll be playing Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection on a live stream with you guys between October 25th through October 30th, so stay tuned to my social channels for more updates to come. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and share, as your support truly means a ton and I can't thank you all enough. And as always, thank you again for all of your support. My name's Nick, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Fight!